Okay, lucky last. I've never used one of these before. It's all a bit scary. Oh, there we go. Okay. So before we can talk about me, I need to go right back to the beginning where I met a sensational woman by the name of Julie Nichols. She's now my business partner and she's the founder of Handmade Canberra. For those who don't know who Handmade Canberra, what Handmade Canberra is and what Julie did, back in 2008, as previously mentioned, Julie had the idea to start a handmade market here in Canberra. The market started at the Albert Hall with just 35 stalls. And I was one of those original stall holders, and some of them are here tonight, I've seen in the room. And we had an attendance of about 3,000 people attend the market. Fast forward to just 2 weeks ago, the market has now gone through a few different venues as it's gotten larger and larger, and the market is now held at the National Convention Centre. We are the National Convention Centre's largest client. The handmade market is now held over 2 days to accommodate the 20,000 people that attend. 20,000 people that attend from all over Canberra and all over Australia. The handmade market now has 160 to 200 stall holders with a wait list about a gazillion miles long. So that's a little bit about the handmade market. Julie had recognised that we have in Canberra a weekly market, but there needed to be more. There needed to be more support for the ACT designers, but also designers from all across Australia. Julie and I are both very passionate about Canberra. We wave a Canberra flag loud and proud, and also very passionate about tourism and bringing tourism to Canberra. So Julie's Handmade Market runs quarterly, and it runs over a long weekend. So that enables designers who travel as far as Tasmania, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, all over, gives them the opportunity to come to Canberra, and it also gives customers an opportunity to make a long weekend and come to Canberra and experience some sensational handmade, awesome handmade goodness. So that's the market, and that's where it started. And now we can talk about me, because, like I said, I was one of the original stall holders at the handmade market, but I got to a point where whilst I loved the market, I didn't want to do it forever. And I got to the point where I just didn't know what else to do with my business. Don't want to be a stall holder forever. But I was a sewer, doesn't matter what you do, but I was at the point where I couldn't grow my business any further. I couldn't wholesale because I couldn't mass produce what I did, and I didn't want to mass produce what I did, but I couldn't. I couldn't sell my $45 dress on a consignment-based arrangement to a sweet little quirky shop anywhere because my $45 dress was worth $45. It's not worth the $90 that shop needs to mark it up to. So then that's not going to work for me either. And not just me, lots of micro business or cottage industry like we were talked about here. And I wasn't the only person. We talked to people around the market. Lots of other people were in the same boat. Julie had held business summits, as you know, and lots of people, same story. So what do? And we thought, okay, well, we'll open a shop. That sounds awesome. How are we going to run the shop? Well, let's run it a bit like a market. Works for me. So we took a business model that is largely used for large business such as Coles and Woolies and DJs, and that's a business model where the designer rents a space. You sell floor space, that's what you're doing. We made up some of our own rules, took a deep breath and went ahead. So in April 2010, we opened Shop Handmade. It works like I said, we rent space. So a designer has, there are different spaces within the store. So you might need a wall space or a hanging space or a little cube space or a little table space. Whatever you need, the designer chooses their space. They pay us a weekly rent. They set their own price on their goods, and we don't further mark that price up. So it keeps the price even. We look after it and make it gorgeous and put it in our beautiful shop. We sell the goodies, and at the end of the month we pay the designer the money that they made. So simple and easy. Sensational business model for us because we have our shop space. We know how many spaces are in the shop. We know how many spaces we need to fill to pay the rent, to pay the electricity, to pay the staff, to pay the computer, to pay all of those operating costs. We just need to fill them. And that was easy enough because there are millions of people out there making clever, awesome things. So that was done. That was easy. We opened Shop Handmade, like I said, April 2010. We didn't owe $1, not $1 to anyone. We opened the shop and we had money in the bank, and we opened the shop, and from day one I could pay myself a wage. So that was pretty cool. All right, anyway. How did that happen? It went so quick. Anyway, 18 months after that, we extended the shop, and it's double in size. It's 300 square metres, and it's awesome and gorgeous and beautiful. You really must come down and have a look. And, I've got so much more to say. But anyway, just come down and say hello. And thanks so much for having me.